Wright, and I am your Chief Executive Officer at Top of the Line Healthcare Staffing. I am a native of New Jersey. I've been a resident in North Carolina for 20 years. I have an amazing husband and 5 beautiful children.
Thank you all for attending this extraordinary event, and tonight we are taking the time out to thank our nurses for all the care they have provided to all the patients, friends, and families. We dedicate this night to celebrate your commitment, your compassion, your perseverance to providing top-of-the-line health care to all patients.
Say breakthroughs in the room.
Breakthroughs in the room.
It's yours if you want it. Anticipating.
Always has worse going on than you do. They always have more going on than you do. And if you look at it like that, you will understand that compassion comes automatically.
Went ahead, you apply for your EIN, you got that first with your company name, and you go to the state level to apply, and it's no longer available. Now you have to do additional paperwork just to try to get everything balanced, right?
We are doing a Make the Call to Get the Client challenge. It's a 5-day challenge, and I want you to be a part of it. If you are a healthcare staffing owner and you are suffering with getting clients, hospitals, nursing homes, whatever your niche is, whatever.
We adore each other. We love being with each other, right?
No, I adore it. I enjoy it. I love it.
I don't know what you're going through, but we stopped by to tell you that what's in front of you is bigger than what's behind you. Your destiny, your promise, your future. You might as well shout before you get it, because God sent me here to tell you that what he has for you is gonna be big.
I believe
That it's my season.
that it's my season.
You ought to declare that over your own life. Say, I believe.
I believe.
Go, and you want that person to have that integrity, that professionalism when the door is closed, because that's what matters.
If you're diabetic or you're diabetic, it's a chance that you might lose some type of sensation in your feet. So you always want to touch the water when you get in any type of bath water, when you're immersing yourself in like a jacuzzi or anything.
So how do you see your journey from that point in time till now? And what is it now that you are aiming for? What is it that you seek for yourself?
So right now, I'm just seeking to touch medical professionals nationwide, because,
accountability kicks in, and that is what we have with our medical professionals. We make sure they are all of that when the door is closed. So
That's awesome. And
that matters most is your family, your health, and your happiness. You have to choose happiness over anything. And my husband, I love you. I say, look, you happiness over anything. All right, y'all, don't go anywhere. Somebody asked a question and we got to answer it. All right, so let's get it.
Hey family, how y'all doing today? I'm so excited, y'all. Last night you should have been at the webinar. Oh my God, I dropped so much game. I'm so excited, and we gave away some gifts, right? So congratulations to the people who got the gifts last night. So let's get to it. This is a live where we are doing 15 minutes. Let's go to it. Let's see where I can explain this. All right, so this is your 15-minute live Q&A with your CEO 3 times, the real Elisa Applewhite. I am the real Elisa Applewhite, your CEO. And what we're going to do is we're going to go live. Here we go. Why do I go live Monday through Friday? People ask me this question all the time. Simple. Because people are always DMing me, emailing me, texting me, calling me, asking me questions about business, about family, about life, about kids, but it's primarily about business and healthcare staffing. And I just wish I had the time to answer each and every one's question, but I don't. So I said, hey, I'm going to go live every day for 15 minutes where I literally answer your questions. So this is what I'm doing. I'm answering your questions. So if you have a question, send it to us, DM us, email us, text us, call us, send it to us so you can get the your question answered. And I normally give 3 tips on the question, the answer to the question. All right. So let's go. Why do they call you CEO 3 times, right? So I always say this to people. We are all CEOs 3 times, whether we like it or not. You are a boss of yourself, right? You are ruling yourself. You are the ruler of what happens to you, what goes into you, your ears, your heart, your mind, your mouth. You rule that, okay? Number 2, you are a boss to your family and to your community. And number 3, you are a boss on your job, or you are really a boss, a CEO, where you own it. Not CEOs don't always own stuff, but when you are bossing it, you're owning it. Ownership, right? It's what matters. But why do I call myself CEO 3 times, y'all? I didn't think about it that in depth when I first started it. So I said, hey, I got 3 companies. Let's make it simple. Let's just say we CEO 3 times. All right. So the first company is called Top of the Line Healthcare Staffing. This is where we staff medical professionals in hospitals, doctors' offices, and nursing homes. Then we have TLTLHS Heart to Go Inc. This is our nonprofit. This is the baby that helps our medical professionals with rental assistance, mortgage assistance, down payment assistance, scholarship assistance, right? It helps them financially grow into the things that they need. So I'm so excited about that. Then you have company number 3, the real Elisa Applewhite Consulting, where we teach everyday people like you how to build a healthcare staffing agency from scratch to government. We also partner with medical professionals where we teach them to be the best medical professional they can potentially be. And then we partner with hospitals and doctors' offices, and we consult with them to show them on how to retain their staff. Y'all, we do so much. We have a podcast called Beyond the Scrubs Podcast, where we literally take everyday people and we record their health issues or patients. They tell their stories, and then we also have medical professionals that tell their stories as well. This thing is so big. Like this consulting company is huge, and I didn't know it was going to grow this big, but I'm going with the flow and I'm going with God because He never steers me wrong. All right, so let's get to the question. So the question is, what is a respiratory therapist? This is a good question. I don't know who asked it, but this is a good question because most people do not know what a respiratory therapist is. So I'm going to give you 3 tips on what I think a respiratory therapist is. I am going to stop myself. I ain't even put the time on the clock. Boom. I don't know. Maybe you're going to get 15 extra minutes. Let's see. All right. So what is a respiratory therapist? Number 1, a respiratory therapist is a medical professional, y'all. This is a person that works in a hospital or in an LTAC facility. So LTAC is long-term acute care facility. Those are your long-term nursing homes that people have to go into that have to either be on a vent or they have to be connected to some type of trach machine. And the trach is, for people who don't know, if you ever seen somebody with a hole in their neck, that's a trach. And what that is, it can be permanent or it can be temporary, right? And people need that because at the time that they do that incision in their neck, they're having some type of breathing difficulties. Their body is not getting the oxygen they need. So they go ahead and put a small incision in their neck and stick a tube in there. And respiratory therapist handles that tube, right? They handle the airway. They keep it clean. They supposed to. Let me say that again for all my nurses that do their own trach care. They supposed to.
but they might not do it, right? And in some hospitals, they literally made it policy that the nurses do the trach care, right? And in some hospitals, they made it policy that only respiratory therapists do the trach care, right? And because that area is so, think about it, it's right here, right? It's directly in your airway, the most how can you say precious, right? Everything's precious on your body, but that area has to be sterile. It has to be clean. Like if you get an infection there, you know, you can die. And it's like, I need somebody trained to do that, not somebody who did it in nursing school and haven't picked up the skill again. I'm just saying hospitals need to listen to this, right? I need somebody who's doing it every day so they know how to keep a sterile field and keep that sterile, right? And I'm not saying that nurses are making it high risk for infection. Before y'all come into my chat, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if respiratory therapy job is to take care of the respiratory tract, then why not just make it a standing rule that they do all of the trach care? All right. So that's my nursing spiel right there, y'all. All right. So they are a medical professional. They can work in a hospital. They can work in long-term acute care hospitals. They work in state hospitals. You got them in psychiatric hospitals. You don't really see them in nursing homes because nursing homes, they try to eat that cost by having the nurses do the breathing treatments and stuff, right? But you can see them in the long-term acute care hospital. And there is a difference between a long-term care center, which is a LTC, and a long-term acute care hospital, which is a LTAC, which we call LTAC, because LTACs normally take people with breathing issues or debilitating issues that require more attention, but they can't lock up a hospital bed. If that helps you, right? So they are medical professionals, right? The next one, what is a respiratory therapist? All right. So I put, it helps patients with anything airway related. So when you are in the ICU, as an ICU nurse, as a former ICU nurse, I worked in surgical trauma. I worked in medical ICU, cardiovascular ICU. I worked in neuro ICU, which was not for me. It's just not for me. It's TBIs be crazy. It's not for me. All right. So I just had a memory, but I worked in these ICUs, and that is where I feel like you get the closest to your respiratory therapist, because most people just think they just go around the hospital doing breathing treatments, cleaning trachs, you know, helping people with airway. When you got to transport a patient, they there to transport that patient and help them keep them breathing. But they do so much more. And I gained so much respect for respiratory therapists when I was an ICU nurse, because they know the ventilation settings. They know if the PEEP is too high, if the PEEP is too low, the tidal volume. They know this stuff. And they just like, this seems to work. And, you know, the doctor gives them an order and says to them, hey, this is what we want, right? And they know the assessment to look and say, hey, doc, I know you ordered the, you know, this PEEP to be at 20 or 18 or whatever, but it ain't working. Can we try right? So it's like it's a true team thing in the ICU when it comes to your respiratory therapist and your nurse, because the nurse is looking at them like, I know about the vent. I know when it alarms what to do. I know that if there's a mucus plug, I know what to do, right? But respiratory therapists normally teach you that while you're in ICU. Like, so if this sound goes on off the alarm, then this means it can be a mucus plug. If this sound goes off the cuff, if you hear like a singing or humming over the cuff, that means that there's a leak in the cuff. So you might need to put a little bit of air in the cuff, right? So it's these little teachings that respiratory therapists teach you in ICU that saves people lives. So they're so important. Airway, for anybody who's a medical professional, knows that we do the ABCs, right? So it's airway, it's breathing, and it's circulation. So airway, we always have to protect our airway. If you are not breathing, you're not living, period, right? If you're not breathing, you're not living. And what respiratory therapy do, that I'm going to give them their kudos, is they are the ones that pop in the ET tubes, right? So the endotracheal tubes. So those are the tubes when you go into a hospital or you see it on TV and you see the person is on a ventilator, a machine, like, oh my God, they're on a machine. And you see this tube hanging out their mouth and you're like, hey, they're on a machine. Respiratory therapist is normally the one that is sitting at that bedside and pops that tube in. And when I say pop, y'all, I'm using nursing terms here, I'm sorry. They take that tube and insert it into the person's mouth to a certain area of their airway, and they help them to breathe and help them to live, and they connect them to a machine that does the same rhythm and breaths that your that your lungs do naturally by itself. And they work these settings to say, okay, this one works for this patient based on their weight, based on their size, based on what's going on. This one might work for this patient, right? So they save a lot of lives. And this is somebody that if you got a respiratory therapist in your family, like, you need to give them a hug and you need to be close to them, because if you stop breathing, they're the ones that's going to save your lives and until you get stabilized to transfer you somewhere else, because they know how to react quickly. Every respiratory therapist I know, they can pop in an ET tube quickly. Quickly glide it down. Some of them don't even need a glidoscope. So a glidoscope is what you use. You open your mouth. You can put it. It's like a hook. It's a hook with a light. You put it in a person's mouth, and then you can guide the tube down. I've seen some of them. I don't need that glidoscope. Boop, pop it in. We do the X-ray. Proof that, hey, that person is in that tube is in the right place, and we keep it going, right? And we do our verification. So what I'm saying to you is they help one of the most important things in that sustains life, period, right? So they do everything airway related. They clean the tracheostomy tubes in some facilities. In some facilities, they clean the trach tubes. If you need a breathing treatment, right? If you have a person that's having difficulty breathing, they are the ones you call, and they give you different type of breathing treatments. They help with the different type of steroid inhalers, right? They have all of this. So they have their own schedule, just like a nurse, right? They have their own medical record. So it's part of your medical record as a nurse, and you can see it, but they literally have their own patients that they have to go throughout the whole building, y'all. Sometimes the whole entire building. They got to go and give these breathing treatments. They got to go and do these assessments. They're the ones that got to go pop in the NG tube. And God forbid, if you had a cold and you need them to pop in the tube now, then they got to stop what they're doing and go pop in the tube. So they are all over. And some days it be quiet and some days it don't. It just depends on the size of the hospital you work. So kudos to the respiratory therapist. Thank you for working beside me for almost 20 years and helping me throughout my journey and just educating me about ventilation systems. I didn't get the education from the doctors, y'all. I got it from my nurses and primarily my respiratory therapist. So this is a tip. If you work in a hospital, right? If you work somewhere with a respiratory therapist, you need to make it your daily goal to ask them one question a day. Just one question a day. And it could be as simple as, what is the vent made of? Just ask them one question a day so you can broaden your scope and you can become the best medical professional you could be, right? If you're a CNA, if you're a janitor, if you're a dietary, I don't care. If you're in a hospital, ask them these questions because people just don't understand healthcare. And it is our jobs to break it down as in a kindergarten form or a third grade form for people to understand healthcare, because when people don't understand, they don't trust the system. And when you understand, you can make a conscious decision. All right, I'm going to trust this or I'm not going to trust this, right? So kudos to my respiratory therapist. All right, and the next one we got is, what is a respiratory therapist, y'all? When I found this out, I felt some type of way. I ain't even going to lie. When I found this out, I felt some type of way. I'm like, what? They get paid just as much as nurses. They get paid probably $5-10 less, if that much, right? Some of them are literally neck and neck with nurses. They get paid, I know for sure, just as much as LPNs, but registered nurses in the hospital. And I'm just like, what? I got to do all this? You ain't got to, look, right? Me and my Mo and I got to do all this. And you get, but at the end of the day, they work just as hard as nurses. And that's what you got to see. You are a nurse. You have a load of patients right there. They have the whole hospital. They have the whole floor, right? Even the patient that nurses say, that person, oh, I'm only going into their room 1 or 2 times because I know when I go in there, they're going to keep me or they're going to complain. They got to still go into that room. if that patient's on their list, right? So respect your respiratory therapist, love your respiratory therapist, and yes, they should get paid as much as nurses, if not more, because I feel, me personally, medical professionals should get paid this ridiculous amount of money because we deal with so much mental stress and anxiety that nobody never addresses, but that's a whole nother question. Address it. And that is what we're doing at Top of the Line, y'all. We are addressing the issues that you're having as a medical professional, right? And this is why we're partnering with these hospitals. And people are like, how can you staff nurses in a hospital, then help the hospitals get staff? It's the patients for me. Like, it's not personable for me. It is the patients for me. I truly want to help every patient that I potentially can. And in order to do it, I have to come to some type of partnership and say, listen, we are truly in this together. Let's get a plan that's going to work so patients don't got to keep having these horror stories, period. You should not be a patient and have these horror stories. People should have enough compassion and respect and accountability to treat you the way that they owe to treat you. All right, so that's my soapbox. Y'all know I'll go on there. So I'm coming back. Say at least come back. In the chat. Say at least come back, because y'all know I'll be going. I love healthcare. All right, so they get paid just as much as nurses, and if they tell you they don't, say, let me see your check. There you go. All right, so let's get to it. We're going to re-go over this because we got 2 minutes. What is a respiratory therapist? It's a medical professional. Number 2, what is a respiratory therapist? They help patients with anything airway related. And if you are a respiratory therapist and you are seeing this and you do more, please comment it, because people need to know what y'all do, other than thinking that y'all just always on a break or something, right? Or the respiratory therapist, that's a whole nother conversation. That is a smoker. What you mean? Oh my God. But that's a whole nother conversation, right? So if you do more, and you're like, Elisa, you just hit the surface, please comment it so I can know and I can spread the word of what you do. All right. So what is a respiratory therapist? They get paid just as much as nurses. All right. So I went over all 3 of those, y'all. I want to make sure, okay, I can't express this enough. Go follow me on all social media platforms. Like, at this point, if you've been watching me consistently, this is 99 lives. Do you understand? 99 days I have been live. On Monday, I'm telling you, I'm going to be so happy because it'll be the 100th live. 100 days I've been live, y'all. Can you say that you consistently did something for 100 days? I have 99 days went live, and I'm telling you, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep pushing, and I can't wait to the 700th day. I can't wait for the 1000th day, because people need this information, and I'm going to give it to them. All right. So follow me on all social media platforms. The Real Elisa Applewhite. Again, that's The Real Elisa Applewhite for the people in the back who's normally my children or my husband. The Real Elisa Applewhite. All right. So, we gotta do this one first, right? Subscribe to my YouTube channel now. Like, stop what you're doing. If you're up here looking at me on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Guess what? Ring the bell. That will work as well, right? So stop and go subscribe right now, because I be giving you information and people be like, I can't believe she legally said that. Or I can't believe she really said that, when I just paid somebody $30,000 and they ain't say none of that. I'm just saying, I do say stuff. You just got to listen. You got to be a part of it, right? So one of the things that we're offering, all right, I'm turning it off. One of the things that we're offering is the Make the Call to Get the Client course. And that starts December 4th, right? From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., Monday through Friday. And if you cannot attend, it's okay. We got the recordings, right? We got the recordings to literally help you get you through this, right? If you want to join, you need to go here, right? And once you go here, we will meet with you. We will talk with you. So you can literally see if this is a fit for you. But again, right, if you don't want to go to the link and you just want to talk to me, I'm going to talk to you anyway, right? You can put in your comment course, and my team will reach out to you and get you on at least a 10 to 15 minute call with me. We are breaking it down to 10 minutes because they're starting to fill up, and we are almost to our max point. So if you have not purchased your tickets and I have talked to you about this, I have had the 15-minute call with you, Please, please do not wait, because we are literally filling up every day. And when I hit my max, that's it. And I'm going to say it. I hit my max. I'm not taking no more people. I'm so sorry. And I'm so ready to change these many people's lives. Like, I'm so excited. All right. So on Thursday, nope, not Thursday, y'all. Let me correct that. It's not Thursday, because the webinar was yesterday, which is Thursday. Okay. So let's see. So on Friday of next week, which is the day after Turkey Day, which is Black Friday, I am doing a webinar where I teach you how to build a healthcare staffing agency, and it has no fluff in it. I give you the game that people paid me for. Okay, so I want to be able to, if you can't afford the course, you say, Lisa, she gave me something. I have something to start with, right? Can't say I didn't give you nothing to start with. So I want you to be able to do that. All right. So that is what we're doing. Let's do some of these comments. So Ramazan, hey, my thumbnail person, I was thinking about you today. We gotta talk. Carlton, thank you. Liana Frey, hey Liana, how are you? I don't think I met you, love, but for sure, comment course if you're interested. Thank you for watching. I appreciate this. And we got some comments over here. Let's see. Lord Carlton, get off the phone. I need somebody take Carlton's phone at this point. Carlton, take your phone. I'm taking your phone. I love you, though. I swear I love you. I swear I do. But God, I'm going to take your phone. All right. So Ramazan, he sends me some hearts. This is my thumbnail guy. I keep telling you about him. He is awesome. He came in and turned my thumbnail game around. Like, he makes me feel so proud to be this professional. He makes me so much more professional. So definitely reach out to him. All right. It all makes sense. Carlton Applewhite, my #1 fan in everything I do. Thank you, babe. All right. Extraordinary work. These are nice, simple procedures. Awesome. Sorry for the typo, not simple procedures. I'm done. Okay, fire emojis. Let's get it, right? Let's go. Let's create the difference for futures. Let's go. Fire emojis, stars. I am multitasking as we speak, and you know that word does not exist when it comes to staffing. You cannot multitask. We already talked about this. All right. So, family, as always, I absolutely love you, right? I don't even know half of you that's out here watching. Hey to my Instagram family. Absolutely love you, right? I don't even know the people that's watching. Like, I haven't had a chance to meet you yet, right? And what I'm saying to you is God is amazing. I love you. I'm so glad you're here today. I'm so glad you're breathing. I'm so glad you decided to be here with me today. And I love you. I love you if you don't hear from nobody else today. But I promise you, there's no love like the love that God gives you. There's no love like the love that you get from your creator. So go and build a relationship with your creator. Because at the end of the day, your mom, your spouse, your kids, your sister, your brother, nobody will show you the mercy and love that God has for you. So go get it and start making changes with your life and stop making excuses. Because guess what? I ain't see an excuse yet that paid one bill. I'm just saying. I haven't seen it. Not one bill. All right. So we're going to leave you with, millionaire mindset. I love this one, y'all. Lisa Applewhite, your CEO 3 times. This is going to be a millionaire mindset. Tip number 1, your new friends' conversation should make your old friends uncomfortable or intrigued. Let that sink in.